good stuff. You are now listening to the legendary WUFO Power 96.5, and I am your host, Franklin Crocker, and this is the Franklin Crocker Show. So before we get started, I want to give a quick blessing to my co-host, Carrie Bridges, K. Dot. He is in the hospital right now, so everybody, if you're listening right now, please just give a prayer out to Carrie to recover. He's been in the hospital for about 2 or 3 days now, and we just want to know that he's in our prayers and our blessings right now. Okay. So again, just to make a little silent moment for Carrie, and hopefully he gets better. All right.
That's right. It's tough
Yes.
not having him in the studio with us tonight.
Yes, but he's pulling through. I actually went to the hospital today to see him. He is not. He can't talk, but he does. He does know you're around, and he'll throw his hand up and his thumb up, and he's doing good. He's strong. I love him, man. That's my brother. That's my brother from another mother, and I love you, Carrie. So again, recover soon, buddy. And we also have our first lady, Erin Habes.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, Erin?
I'm doing great.
How was your week?
Man, it was busy. I tell you, there are just, so many things to go see, eat. I mean, we went to Once on This Island.
Oh, yes. With Naila.
We had our guests on last week, Naila Ansari and Jana Reed. From Once on This Island. You went to the production twice.
And I'd never double up on plays. It has to be good for me. I doubled up on I don't double up on movies, let alone a play.
That's right.
So, and she did an amazing job.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Naila. Hands down, the direction of this play was incredible.
Yes.
Jana was a light on that stage. She deserves an Oscar. I don't even know if that's the right
the terminology for a Broadway play.
What's the Broadway play? Yeah.
Ready? I bet you don't know that one. Ready? what's
the Tony Award? She
Tony.
Deserves a Tony
the
Award.
Tonys, yes, the Tonys.
Yes, the Tony Award. Jana totally deserves a Tony Award after that.
Our special guest in the house right now told us that, so we're not that smart, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't know it. We didn't have the answer to that, so we're going to introduce her in a few minutes. But also, what else did we do this week? So we had the Broadway play. Oh. We had the cooking class.
We did. We were hanging out.
Shout out to Luke.
Luke Copping. He's a photographer, a local photographer, an incredibly talented photographer.
Yeah.
I've worked with Luke for probably over a decade at this point. And
are you that old?
No, I'm not. I wear it so well.
You actually do, yes.
We were in his studio, and he had a special chef that came in and did a cooking class for us. Smita,
yes.
And Indian cuisine chef.
Yes, and I told her tonight, I DM'd her tonight, and I told her I would shout her out in regards to her class. Now, what I told her in the DM was this, and this is wholehearted. The food was good, and she told us the food that we created, that we cooked.
Because we cooked.
We cooked our own food.
And if anybody knows me,
from scratch,
I don't cook.
Yes.
So
you actually getting better, Erin.
Oh, thank you.
You're getting better.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But we cooked authentic Indian cuisine.
Yes.
But what
a lot about Indian cuisine.
Correct. And what I respected more about the cooking, because the food I thought was amazing, because I actually did I think I did the meat, and I did the gravy as well. That was pretty much me. And that's neither here nor there. But what I thought about what was great about this cooking class was the history behind the food. She explained to us about the regions where the food comes in India, which I never knew. Yeah. And explained to me that, part of the Indian culture is to use whatever you grow in your native region. So there was regions that do more peanuts.
About all foods in all different countries.
Yeah, but not yes and no to an extent, is it?
Yeah, no. Well, good news. We have a food writer, editor, author extraordinaire on the show today.
We do. And she's going to...
And we're gonna talk that talk.
Yes.
About food.
And I'm pretty much gonna be just sitting back chilling, because you're gonna do all the talking for the most part.
She is one of my best friends.
She's one of your best friends, yes. Also, one more shout out before we get to our feature guest real quick.
The suspense is killing everybody.
Also, Demont Pinder. The legendary Demont Pinder was in town. I took him around town, and I felt bad for him. The reason I felt bad is he said, you know, I want some traditional buffalo wings. And he didn't ask my opinion. He went out and grabbed his own wings, and again, I'm not saying the names of the place he went, but he felt that he had better wings before, and that was a bad thing because
you're not going to shout out the restaurant.
No, I'm not shouting out because I'm not shouting out. Not in this case.
Have a few opinions about that.
I know.
Yeah.
Everybody, a very famous chicken wing restaurant.
Yeah, and he
wasn't that happy with it.
He wasn't happy with it. But what he was happy with, what I did recommend, was the Swan Street Diner. Him and his wife went there for breakfast,
perfect.
and they had the
That's
little
one of
mini
our
donuts.
faves.
That's one of our favorites. So he did go there. He loved that. And then I took him to Toronto, or he took himself to Toronto, and we had.
And who is Demont Pinder?
Demont Pinder is
Tell everybody about Demont.
He is a world-renowned artist that, again, does paintings and a bunch of stuff. But what he's really known for that nobody else does, he designs pictures with sustainable clothing. And we're not talking about small pictures. He hides himself in the picture, like Where's Waldo?
He does these massive paintings with clothing.
Yep.
On the floor, and then he matches his clothing to the painting, and he lays down in
Like
the
Where's Waldo?
Like Where's Waldo?
And it's like, and you got to remember, it's by 8 feet by 8 feet. It's a lot of clothing.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot because he's about 5'10".
He's got 50,000 followers on Instagram.
Yes, and
Franklin was gallivanting around Buffalo with this guy.
Buffalo,
That's great.
Toronto, and Niagara Falls.
I love it.
Took him on the tour, the world tour.
Living the dream.
So, living the dream. So, without further ado, let's do what we do. Let's get to our featured guest. I'm gonna let you do it, Aaron, because this is your girl.
This is my girl.
It's your girl. Aaron, take it over.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Christa Glennie.
The
Christa Glennie.
Yes.
All right. The extraordinaire food writer, food editor, author of 2 cookbooks, the food editor for Buffalo Spree magazine.
She's been in
one of my BFFs.
Yeah, she's been also in Food and Wine. She's also been in USA Today.
For many different publications.
Amazing.
And I'm just so happy to call her my friend. And I'm so happy to have you in the station today.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Yes.
You guys are very enthusiastic, and I love that.
Yes, that's what this is the energy we bring here.
We love you, and we also love food.
Well, I mean, everybody loves food, don't they?
Yes.
For the most part. Even if they
part.
don't love it the same way you do, they love it in their own way.
I always say that whenever I travel somewhere, I travel on my stomach.
Well, I mean, that is the best way to perhaps get to know people,
right?
Wherever they may live.
Right?
Yeah, when we were talking about regions earlier, I was thinking about how, even in America, quite frankly, food is regional.
Yes.
And if you go to China or Korea or France or Italy or literally anywhere, the food is based on the region and what was available to the people there.
Okay.
And perhaps they, like America, ended up finding ways to make food seasonally available year-round that typically shouldn't be, but the food that is inherently part of their culture is usually what they could grow in season. And that is something that we as Americans are completely dismissed from. We can get
true.
strawberries year-round, and it's hard to recognize that you're not even eating a real strawberry until you have a strawberry at the farmer's market in the summertime, and you're like, oh, damn.
Oh, this is
That's what a strawberry is supposed to taste like.
Yeah. True.
So we're, when I first started in food, sort of being a food editor in Western New York, one of the things that I quickly recognized was that even our chefs don't understand true seasonality in New York State. We spent a lot of time working with chefs to help them understand what was in season here when, because that is the most economical and flavorful way to cook, is to cook with what's in season.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It totally
So
makes sense.
Smita, I feel like she's maybe from the northwest part of India. I can't recall.
I think she said that.
But she's from a very specific region that has, a particular style of food and ingredients that they
I believe the
use.
peanuts was part of her traditional region. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I just thought it was so fascinating. She was talking to us about, really the colonization of
Yes.
Indian cooking, and how the Indian restaurants that we go to here is not really the true, authentic Indian food.
I mean, that's the same of the Chinese restaurants and the
Yes.
Japanese restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, we
I
can go
can
on
speak
and on and
from
on.
experience
With
from
Italian
that.
and Chinese,
When I went to Beijing,
Yep.
China, and the food that I had there was incredible. Nothing like Chinese food that you get in your local
So
Chinese
if you
restaurant.
want to eat that kind of Chinese food in Buffalo, where do you go? Do you know?
I actually don't know.
You go to Peking Quick One in Eggertsville, which is phenomenal and serves very legitimate Chinese
All right,
food.
listen,
They also
we've got
serve, takeout, sweet and sour, whatever, because that's their bread and butter there in the suburbs. But if you go off of their quote-unquote secret menu, the food is divine and it is incredibly authentic. The portions are huge, the ingredients are fantastic, and it's always very affordable.
This is why we do what we do.
I have
we
I have
the best people.
the best cook critic here in Buffalo, and I have the best fashion critic here in Buffalo. This is amazing. What am I known for?
This is why we're friends.
I'm gonna walk off the show.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out.
honest.
It is why we're friends, though. I mean,
It is, right?
Habes and I were both sort of like hustlers in our specific scenes,
Yes.
working our buns off at the same time, and our careers kind of blossomed on the same path. And so we've had a lot in common, even though our interests are really different. And I love fashion, and she loves food, even though each of us knows more about the other than
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
but we've traveled together. We've
We
gone to
have.
Pittsburgh
And
we've had-
Toronto.
and Toronto.
Oh, we had some fun
right?
in Toronto.
Fashion and food. It's a great mix.
It is.
Fashion and food, and they both start with F, so that's great. And Franklin. Oh, bang! Let's get it, baby.
That's your contribution.
I'm
So
quick on
for
the
me,
draw.
fashion, food, and art are the best
Yes.
ways to travel.
Yes,
For sure.
definitely.
And
I
we have
agree.
an abundance of that here as well that I think most of the people who live here aren't even aware of. Just like that a lot of people here aren't really familiar with the people who are pushing fashion in Western New York. There's a lot of really exciting art and food happening here that doesn't often hit sort of the mainstream.
True.
That's how you don't know about Peking Quick One.
Exactly.
we gotta
Well,
try that-
everybody
we gotta
write
try
that
it
down
out. Yes.
and go and visit them
Definitely
this
that.
weekend.
Oh, you'll love it.
I like to say, Christa, that your career here in Buffalo, you were really the first one to start talking about the farm to table movement
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
When it was happening in New York City, and then really when you moved to Western New York and you really started to hit the ground talking about food, talking about farms and that whole farm to table movement, you really, in my opinion, I feel like you brought that.
Yeah, I mean, there are
here.
a lot of people working in food justice and in, like production of food and
Yes.
food distribution that were far ahead of me. But when I showed up in 2007, there certainly wasn't anybody else in sort of the restaurant food space talking about local ingredients. And there weren't a lot of examples of farm to table. There was one chef who had figured out how to get like a couple of ingredients from a local farmer at a higher quality for a lower price. And then there was one chef who had figured out that if he wanted to run a farm-to-table restaurant in Western New York, he was going to have to go across the border to Canada because we didn't have enough access to farms here for him to be able to supply that food in his restaurant. So that was 2007. That was a long time ago.
So what's that terminology again?
Farm to table.
Farm to table.
And let's break that down for our listeners. What does
Sure.
farm to table really mean?
So farm to table means that a restaurant is serving food that was somehow like still existing on a farm within like the last 48 hours.
48 hours. So that's
Yeah.
that's short term.
They're buying food directly from the farm 99% of the time. Farmers that the way that worked was that we networked a bunch of farmers together and taught them how to speak chef, and we taught the chefs how to speak farmer through some conferences we held.
Okay.
And we were able to find farms that would make deliveries just to restaurants. And so that was the way that the farm not only got their name out and found people who wanted to be members of their community supported agriculture project or whatever else, but it also allowed them to make connections with farms and to get their food into restaurants. I'm being very mumble mouthed.
No, we're not.
No,
Hey,
you're
hey.
good.
It's been a long time since
Yeah.
I've talked about farm to table. So there's between 6,000 and 7,000 farms in Western New York.
Whoa.
Just the 8 counties of Western New York.
Wow.
Most of those farms are small farms that are run by families where at least one member of the family has a job off farm to help cover insurance and bills because farming is not terribly lucrative. But we have some of the most amazing soil in the country along with incredible terroir. So terroir is a complicated word, but
Yes.
we'll just say that it means like weather and climate
Okay.
and
Dope.
soil all working together. So we have we're able to grow stone fruit and all kinds of things that other places can't grow.
Oh, that is so interesting.
And that's why we have wine grapes and all kinds of things. So we really have this incredible bounty of local food available to us, and yet most of it is not making its way into your refrigerator or into the chef's kitchens. And that's a big puzzle that we need to solve. So far, we've solved it by kind of making it the individual responsibility of the chefs and the farmers, or the public and the farmers, to make it happen. But we need distribution that will support farms in order to make that viable economically.
And you've seen a change. I mean,
Oh.
I feel like we've come a long way since 2007.
Yeah, I mean, I with no offense intended, Franklin, I haven't had to explain farm to table to anybody in a really long time. That's
this
okay.
is why you're on the Franklin Crocker.
Yeah, it's okay. But because it's pretty common now. You know, it's accepted that we want to cook in season. It's accepted that we want to buy food from farms and that we want to eat fresh produce. Those things are much more common.
When you're at a restaurant, and I feel like the restaurant is so proud to put the different farms that they
100%.
are sourcing their produce and whatever from.
Yes.
So I feel like that's kind of become just the norm, which is fantastic.
It has, and I think that there's an opportunity for that to go farther. Again, the distribution thing is a real problem.
That's the key.
And
that might be the bridge that needs to happen in order for it to really start
What do you think about that?
Processing and distribution are the two pieces that are sort of missing here that people have tried to fix, and that hopefully someday we will fix. But for the time being, we've really made that an individual effort, and we've come leaps and bounds with individual efforts.
Wow.
And it really all sits on the shoulders of a handful of chefs and a handful of farmers who figured it out very early on and were willing to educate every single customer who came in the door and spend time with each other. We used to put chefs on a school bus and drive them out to farms and walk them around the farms so that they would have the opportunity to ask questions and to learn things about the way food grows.
Wow.
That information, because of the internet, is far more available today, and chefs are brought up to respect and understand farms. That didn't used to be the case at all. So we're trying. We're all out there trying.
Yeah, exactly.
That is amazing stuff there. I mean, I got an education again. I love this show because you know what? I learn just as much as everybody else does.
Exactly.
Because some of this stuff is foreign to me. It's But what I want to ask you is a question. You said something earlier. You talked about you brought up chefs. And I want you to give me, in your opinion, the difference between a chef and a cook.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll clarify, because in a restaurant you can have cooks who work for chefs.
Okay.
Like a chef has multiple cooks in their kitchen working for them. They are not the only one cooking. In some instances, they're not cooking at all.
The chef?
Correct.
Okay.
But I think that you're referring, when we're talking about it, we're talking about like home cooks versus chefs.
Correct.
So a home cook can be incredibly skilled, can make Thanksgiving dinner for 100 people, and has certainly a skill set that is admirable. But a chef is a very different animal. A chef is a person who has to think about the economics. They have to think about how to cook food and hold it at a safe temperature so that it can be reheated for service. They have to think about how to repurpose an ingredient multiple times through various, like it's a steak today, it's a what tomorrow, it's a, right? So there's also inventory and stock rotations and there is a whole world of things, including balancing a P&L, that a chef has to do. That is a skill set that not every cook probably most cooks don't have.
Yeah.
And honestly, even between restaurants, there are hierarchies. There's your sous chef, there's your executive chef, there's your chef who walks around with a clipboard and is really good at numbers and never touches food. There's a whole range of options in there. And so there are a lot of like insider nuances between who you call a chef and who you call a cook, and being very trying to make sure that you don't accidentally call somebody the wrong thing.
Oh my gosh.
So some people don't care about that at all, but some people
complexity.
care about it a lot, right? It'd be like accidentally calling, I don't know, a sergeant a lieutenant or something, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuance in there. And obviously people who have healthy egos and really don't take themselves too seriously, don't really care what you call them because they know they're talented, but not everyone is that person.
like calling me a fashion designer.
Oh, yes, like
right.
in a commercial.
Yes, so we just, Franklin and I are in a commercial for Visualize.
I love Visualize.
And Visualize is how we make a
And
spectacle.
Visualize is how we make a spectacle. So this just hit Channel 2 on Saturday.
The first, yes.
The 1st of October, and it's a commercial featuring the two of us wearing beautiful eyewear from Visualize. But the funny thing is I think the assumption is that I'm a fashion designer.
Mm-hmm.
They put fashion designer. I was like, hey guys, like I'm not a fashion designer.
Right.
Like,
So
Can you
wrong, the
please
wrong
change
title.
the
I'm in fashion. I teach fashion.
It's very
I'm
hard for
It's hard.
outsiders.
Yeah. So, but
people
I get
call me a
it.
chef all the time.
Everybody just kind of thinks that I am a fashion
Totally.
designer. I don't know how to sew. Everybody. So if you need me to hem your pants,
there are a
I
lot of
can't.
designers who don't know how to sew.
This
Let's
is
be
true.
honest,
This
Erin.
is true. I have the creativity, but it's funny.
Well, I went to cooking school, and I can cook. I'm a great cook, but
Yes,
I'm
you
not
are.
a
I
chef.
had some
And
of your
people
food.
call me chef all the time,
Oh,
and
man.
it's like, no, please do not call me chef. One of the chefs heard you calling me chef, it'd be all over.
They would be all over it, right?
I need to be very respectful.
Yes,
so,
of course.
yeah.
So that's really interesting learning the differences
Yeah,
between
that's
those
really
two.
dope. And you know what's crazy about the industry of, culinary arts, the creative culinary arts, is when I grew up, again, I'm 45, I think now, 45.
Just a baby.
Yeah, I wish. It wasn't something that people inspired to be. It wasn't there wasn't that ambiance behind being a cook or a chef. It is phenomenal now. I mean, it is leaps and
It
bounds.
cost you $100,000 to go to school.
$100,000 to go to. Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
great.
Well, I mean, I think we can thank the Food Network for that. I hate to say this, but he would hate me to say this, but I think we can thank Tony Bourdain for that. Like,
Yes.
I think that, when there was a cover on a magazine, like in 2005, that called Chefs the New Rock Stars, and after that, it was all over. Like, it was now the most attainable thing that somebody who couldn't play guitar could do and still live that rock star lifestyle. But of course, as with all good things, I say that with quotes, like that rock star lifestyle ended a lot of chefs up
Yeah.
in trouble. I cannot speak.
Yeah, no.
2016, 2015, 2016, 2017, Me Too wiped out a lot of very heavy hitters in the chef industry
Oh, man.
because it's been,
It's a
a
tough
white
business.
boys' playground with drugs and sex and
Yeah.
booze and craziness.
Sign me up, coach.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said. That's what a lot of people said. But what's great now is that we're starting to settle down into a situation where we see far more egalitarian, far more equality, far more appropriateness, both in terms of approachability in restaurants and in who's working in restaurants. We're seeing that happen in Buffalo like never before. There are more and more sort of everyday people from a wide variety of backgrounds running restaurants, as opposed to it just being like, upwardly mobile young white men who could afford a college education in culinary arts. So,
which is that's.
And let's talk about the landscape of restaurants in Buffalo.
yeah.
I mean, what makes our culinary scene so unique?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. First of all, obviously, we have an abundance of regional foods here. We have more regional favorites than any place else I've maybe ever seen. For pizza, wings, Loganberry, sponge candy. I mean, the list is endless.
Loganberry.
We have
that is-
our staple
that is
dishes.
sweet
there's
stuff.
There's so much, you guys. In New York State, there's also a lot. So there's a ton of regional food. We've got a lot of throwback restaurants that in other cities would have closed. So old guy taverns, I think of them, great old school places.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that really sets us apart right now is, number one, we have more independent chef-owned restaurants than a city of our size typically does. Typically,
Wow.
restaurants that have a chef at the helm have a lot of financial investors in other cities, and the chef is really maybe not got as much free reign as chefs have here. So because lease prices have been low for a long time, because the barrier of entry was really low, we have a lot of chef-owned restaurants, and that means we have really incredible food with no barriers between, like, we don't have anyone minding the financials and saying, like, no, you have to serve a cheaper cut of meat, you know, like, it's really worked out for us in terms of having high quality food. The other thing that's really interesting about us is this influx of 7,000 to 10,000 immigrants in the last 10 years has given us a huge assortment of amazing, and I hate to use the word, but authentic, you know, global cuisine, access to that in a way that we never had before. I mean, you could not get a decent Chinese anything here for decades, and now we've got a couple spots that are pretty great. So we've got African food and tons of Burmese food and Thai and Vietnamese stuff. I mean, better Mexican food than we've ever had, right? So, like, there is a lot of exciting stuff happening here in terms of sort of approachable global cuisine. So those are the things that I think really set us apart pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, we're seeing tons of spots open because people either, you know, like, collected themselves during the pandemic and were like, I don't ever want to go back to that job again. I want to make barbecue. I want to make coffee. I want to stand at the farmer's market and bake pie all day. Like, so we've seen a lot of growth in these small cottage industry type businesses. We've also seen the lower lease prices that happened during the pandemic give a lot of people the option to open a spot.
That's interesting.
Okay. All right, we're going to get to a quick break real fast. We got to pay some bills, and we'll be right back with our featured guest. Give me about, I don't know how many, it's 20, 30 seconds. Let's go. Let's go. Ready? So, yeah, this is going good. See, that was very easy. So I guess what we're going to do now is have some fun. So let's get into the song. Got long commercials today. I'm still in the camera here. Hi, everybody. I'm Franklin Crocker. And your name is?
We can definitely talk about chicken wings if you want to.
All right.
We could talk about
That's what you Buffalo. Let's talk about some chicken wings. Chicken wings. Chicken wings.
I
Wangs.
interviewed Josh Allen about chicken wings last October, so we can talk about that.
Oh, I would love to.
That's the thing that people would like.
Little Joshy. I'll tell everybody about this. I'm drinking wine right now.
Interesting conversation.
I hope this wasn't for you to take home.
No.
Okay.
I would not be taking wine.
It's not strong though. I feel like it's juice. Is this alcohol?
I mean, it's really. I tried to take it easy on you.
6%?
Yeah, Franklin, you like sweet drinks.
Oh, this is great.
I just
Say hi to the people on Instagram.
Hi, people on Instagram. This is like Drink Champs. Nori, I got you beat, young man. Drink Champs. Have me on the show, Nori. I got you. Nori has a big podcast on YouTube called Drink Champs.
Yes.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switched to progressive could
It is a long one today.
But then what? We could
Kinda know why,
legal
but-
copy that never gets the attention it deserves. Guess a lawyer worked real hard.
So
take it away, lawyer.
Take it away, lawyer.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and
Sangria
national
on the show.
average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with
Sangria, right? Sangria?
2020.
Hey, Amanda.
Potential savings will vary.
Hey, Amanda.
That's watching.
That was some beautiful legal. Well done, lawyer.
Thanks for watching, Amanda.
Serving Amherst, Buffalo.
Yes.
WUFO Mix 1080 AM and Power 96.5 FM.
Poltergeist, we're
It's
back.
just, well, now it's fitting for you to do that.
Yes,
because
it's Halloween.
October.
It is Halloween. And just so everybody know, I apologize. In the background, if you hear some pouring, I'm drinking a little bit of sangria.
Because in front, so Christa, we should say.
Yes, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this display in front of us here.
So Christa brought us a charcuterie board.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie is actually meat, so it's just.
Okay.
Oh, see, this is why we have you here. What is it called then?
It's just a cheese board.
Cheese board. Only charcuterie when it's
a
when it's
cheese
meat.
board.
Yes, ready got something to say.
Very important. I want to give a big VIP shout out to a girl I work with named Lydia. She made this for me last year for my birthday. I said, what is that? Never heard of that charcuterie board. So my family laughed. They said, Robert, it's all different kind of cheeses. Is you crazy? It's cheeses and it's meats. I had one last year for my birthday.
Nice.
Oh,
Yes,
there you go. There you
charcuterie
go.
board. I love it. Yes.
So, but we've got a cheese board.
We have a cheese board, and I don't eat cheese, so you guys, ladies,
I
have
know.
fun
So I'm
with that.
partaking in the cheese and some apricots,
And
and
some,
then we have
crackers.
some beautiful red wine. So
Yes.
thank you, Christa.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank
That
you.
was
We're
a
gonna
great
talk
way
about
of
food.
enjoying our commercial break, just drinking some wine. I
She's
think
trying
we
to get
should
to
do this more
she's
often.
trying to get
Just
to my
saying.
heart through my stomach. I love it.
It is an evening show, so let's enjoy it.
Yes, it is. So speaking of evening shows, actually no transition here. Let's talk about our sponsor. Let's talk about West Her. Carrie normally does this sponsorship, usually talks about this, so I'm going to do a West Hurt commercial today, segue into this. West Hurt has over 35 locations in the Western New York area, Rochester, East Syracuse, and Buffalo. They also have over 3,000 pre-owned vehicles. And again, if you're looking for a new vehicle, go to West Hurt, tell them Franklin Crocker sent you. You will get the Croc Cash discount. They'll take care of you with the Franklin Crocker Show. And again, West Hurt, we thank you for sponsoring our show. We thank you for believing in us and supporting the show. And yeah, Scott Beeler. I just actually seen Scott Beeler a couple weeks ago when Sheila Brown got her award. She got her
Congrats,
broadcasting award. Congratulations, Sheila, for the Buffalo Broadcasting Association.
That's right, well deserved.
So well deserved. I seen Scott Beeler and I gave him a handshake, gave him a big kiss on the forehead. So shout out Scott Beeler. So again, thank you for West Hurt for taking care of us. We really
Speaking
appreciate
of West Hurt, during the commercial break, we were talking about chicken wings and Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yes.
Christa was telling us that she had the wonderful pleasure of interviewing the Josh Allen about chicken wings. What did he say?
Last October. Well, he's a barbell guy, and I mean, who can blame him? That's the
okay.
best place.
I'm a barbell girl too.
It's the best place.
To me, it's the best.
It's the best place.
But you are the food editor.
Demont didn't go there, I can tell you that. So
No,
just
we
keep going.
should've told him to go there.
So one of the interesting tips I'll say, we were talking about traveling and food, and the
Yes.
one thing I will tell anybody who's not like a hardcore foodie who might not know this, is that if a place is known for a food, and you go to the place that everyone says either originated that food or is known for that food,
It's not good anymore.
it's not good anymore.
No.
Because in order to keep up with volume, in order to continually make more and more increasing money, they can't change the price of stuff too much. So the way they make money is by changing the original ingredients, which then gives you a less great product.
Wow.
When it comes to chicken wings, not only is it, everybody wants to talk about the size of the wing, like, oh, this place has big wings, oh, this place has little wings. I don't really care about the size of the wing. What I care about is what's on the wing. And if you are going to a place that sells a sauce that's shelf stable, you are not going to like that wing, because what makes a wing good is the butter. And so if you are buying a shelf stable sauce that you don't add butter to, you are basically eating like Crisco or like a liquefied Crisco in place of butter, and that is why the wings aren't as good.
Okay.
So you got to go to a place that still uses butter and still does it the old-fashioned way.
Not margarine, but butter.
So margarine has some benefits because it does cling to the wing better than butter does. So you'll find a lot of places
interesting.
will use like a small percentage of margarine and butter, but you don't want a place that's using liquefied fat that just is shelf stable. It's not good for you, and it's not good for the wings. So
Okay, so basically
if
all
they
of Western
sell-
New York is reanalyzing where they've been getting their wings.
yeah,
right now.
I mean,
They're going to call up and be like, do you use...
you should ask.
You should ask.
You
Okay.
should ask.
All right.
And if they're selling
I'm gonna ask.
Do
shelf
people do
stable
that?
wing sauce,
Do people actually ask what do you use for ingredients?
ask every time I'm there. And you
Get
know who will
outta
tell you the
here.
truth is the waitstaff. Because they don't know that they're supposed to lie.
I love
That
it.
is interesting.
The
So
secrets.
I typically go, I like Barbell, and Kelly's Corner is probably my next
never
favorite,
been to
which is like
Kelly's
on
Corner.
Delaware Avenue and North Buffalo, and is
Okay.
great.
All right, good
Yeah.
to know. That's closer. Barbell is, they've got 2 locations.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the same thing happens if you go eat a lobster roll in Maine, or you go have a steak sub in Philly, whatever. It's like you got to go to the places that the locals go to, not the places that the tourists go to. Go buy a T-shirt and then go eat the meal somewhere else.
That makes a lot of sense when you think
I
about it.
love
Because
it.
it's like going to Philly. I mean, I don't eat cheesesteaks, but it's like going to Philly, and because it's known for cheesesteaks, and you go somewhere and it just really sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness, like it turns you off. Because again, I felt bad for Demont because he felt like he had
I
better
know.
chicken wings in his hometown.
He probably did.
Which he probably did, the place that he went to, which kind of sucks because we're
It's
known
too
for
bad.
Buffalo wings.
But it's just like when you go sit next at a beautiful, like on the water, and you go pay all this money to have dinner on the water, and the food is never very good.
Yeah.
You're paying for the view.
Scenery, yeah.
They don't have to
Yeah.
have great food. They're
Yeah.
gonna put butts in seats and charge a lot of money for their view.
That's crazy.
So you gotta make smart choices with your
Okay,
money.
It's all about smart
It's all
choices.
about smart choices. So the smart choice we're gonna make tonight is a song we're gonna use.
Oh, snap.
Yes. So let's get to the song. Now, Aaron, you know what? I might let you know what. Not saying I'm not gonna let you, but
Well, because
Aaron,
I did do the fun
yes,
facts.
I think today's gonna be your fun fact day, Aaron.
And this is like really one of my. I love this song.
This is one of my favorite songs.
This
Is it your
one of
favorite
my favorite songs. It really is, and I'll tell you why. Because it was in one of my favorite movies, 200 Cigarettes. It's "I Want Candy" by Bow Wow Wow.
I was obsessed with her when I was in junior high.
Right?
Yeah.
She was
And it's
She's
funny,
the
Aaron,
best.
because when you told me the
MTV,
song,
1982.
you said Bow Wow at first. You forgot the other Wow, because Bow Wow
Because
and Bow
sometimes-
Wow Wow are two different artists.
Boy, are they ever.
Yes.
They really are.
So I'm like,
They
Bow
really
Wow and Candy? I don't think Bow Wow made a song with Candy in it.
Okay, and I should preface this because we're talking candy, food. This is our food episode. We're also kicking off the month of food.
Yes.
So
Culinary
we're-
arts.
The culinary arts. So we're the whole month of October. We're gonna have some really amazing chefs that are gonna come on and talk to you guys.
To be announced.
Yes, some
TBA,
some
huh?
famous chefs.
Some famous, some very nice chefs.
I know. Yeah, I'm
And
excited.
Buffalo, real fast before you get into that, the one thing that, we talked about chicken wings. Chicken wings are amazing. But I don't think we do enough credit for the food that we have here in Buffalo. The other specialties we have in Buffalo besides chicken wings.
Oh,
We
there's
have
so many.
Beef on weck, which I love.
Some beef on
Charlie the Butcher, love it. I know I'm pretty sure you know some better places. 'Cause I- looking at your face, I'm like, yeah. She's like,
But
yeah,
there's
okay.
So much. I mean, it doesn't. We don't maybe own bologna sandwiches, but bologna sandwiches are a huge part of Buffalo. So are pierogies. So are
Pierogies,
butter lambs.
yes.
So are hot dogs.
Yes.
I mean, Greek sauce. So the list is endless of things that we really have that are quirky Western New York things.
And so we're playing I Want Candy. I mean, what's our favorite candy in Buffalo?
well, obviously it's sponge candy.
Sponge candy.
But I'm going to tell you something you
Okay,
don't want
what?
to know.
What?
Sponge candy isn't from Buffalo. Don't tell anyone.
Got him.
What? Stop the presses.
Mind blown.
Mind blown.
We love it, but it's not from here.
Where is it actually from?
Well, there's a candy bar called the Violet Crumble in Australia that's a sponge candy.
Wow.
And they call it sea foam in the Great Lakes. It's a very popular candy in the Great
Like
Lakes.
seafoam?
hmm
Oh, that's actually
So there's
kinda cute.
lots and lots and lots of sponge candy history. We are the only people who call it sponge candy, and we have adopted it as our own, so what the heck.
It's kind of a Buffalo thing. to
That's
do.
what we do. Like the Bills Mafia, we adopt words and we just run with it.
There you go.
And people think we invented it. No, we didn't. So let's
So
get
some fun facts about Bow Wow Wow.
Yeah, there's an extra wow in there.
She is the coolest broad ever.
She is so cool. Okay. They're an English new wave band, which Christa, I'm sure new wave is like that was your jam, right?
Was back then.
Back then. And so Bow Wow Wow was actually created by their manager Malcolm Mclaren in 1980. Do you know who Malcolm
Mhm.
Mclaren is?
I don't.
Okay, so Malcolm Mclaren was a very famous did everything. Visual arts, songwriter, singer, musician, clothing designer, boutique owner, and he was
He was a Renaissance man.
he's a Renaissance man, but known for being the promoter and the manager of two very, very important bands, the New York Dolls and the Sex Pistols.
I remember the Sex Pistols. I don't know about New York Dolls. Sex Pistols. I definitely know
And
about.
he was with Vivienne Westwood, and they had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Vivienne Westwood is a very famous fashion designer, and one of my favorite fashion
She's an
designers.
icon.
She's
Yeah,
an
you
icon.
can tell
She's
Erin-
not even a fashion. She's an icon, an absolute like punk. She created punk.
I can tell, Aaron, you did the
She's
fun
the
facts this
queen.
week. A lot of designer stuff in this in this fun facts.
That's why I suggested it. Just saying.
Good job.
So, another fun fact about this song was that it was actually first released. The original was by the Strange Loves in 1965,
I didn't know that.
and it wasn't
No
even
idea.
written about candy, like physical sweet candy.
It was written
It was
about-
actually about a person, a woman named Candy Johnson.
Mm.
And she had a very bodacious bod, and
Does that mean she had a fatty?
she
She had that don't?
had that dog.
Okay.
And she used to wear like fringe dresses and like shake and do the twist
Yeah.
back then. And so for some reason they wrote this song about her saying, I want candy. So she must have had that certain something. And then of course the Bow Wow Wows re-released it, in 1982. and it was one of the top hits.
1982, I was what, 5?
I think it's their first or second largest hit. They've only had like 2
They've only
hits.
had a couple
and so
hits.
it's either the first or the
And
second.
it actually never made the top 40 here in the United States, but it was like number 8 in the UK.
Yep.
So, but when MTV came about in 1980, they released this, the iconic music video that went along with it.
Yep.
The lead singer covered in like gold paint, like this like
She's the
leopard
bomb.
print on the face. It was really rad. Look it up, just saying. But it's in one of my favorite movies, 200 Cigarettes.
200
fun
cigarettes.
It's fun. So
Don't-
I just thought it'd be fun today. You know, we're talking
No.
food.
It's
so
Halloween too. Like
it's
Halloween.
oh, come on.
It's just, it's a segue. But the one thing you just said something too, which is pretty unique, and I love this about music from the 70s and 80s, in the 60s as well, and more 70s and 80s, is how subliminal it was. Again, we all thought the song was about candy. It's not about candy. You know, Rick James, he sung Mary Jane. We always thought about a woman named Mary Jane. No, it's about marijuana. But, you know, it was beautiful how artistic they were with making these songs, because they got you to think one thing, but it's really about something else. Nowadays, there's no art in that. They'll tell you exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, well,
There's
we
just
were
no
much
art.
more liberal and
Yeah.
free society than people back then. Had
Yes.
a lot of social mores they had to.
True.
When my mother first, this song called "Hang On Sloopy." Have you ever heard
Oh,
it?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that song I believe is about having an O.
Oh.
Love it.
Yeah, so like
We're coming
I
next
was like,
Never-
really?
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I think that was a lot of that was because you couldn't talk about things
couldn't.
like that. You
True.
couldn't put
Yeah,
an
you
album
had
out
to
like
have
that
these,
and
like,
make it
little-
The White
to top
Horse.
40.
It's about cocaine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Today people just say whatever they want,
Yeah,
which
true.
is great and also terrible.
True. So true, so true. Again, I love the subliminalness to it. I love the creativity when you are subliminal about a song, because again, it just shows so much about the artist and how they can take you one place, but really you're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So,
True.
all right, so let's get to this song. So we're gonna get to the song I Want Candy by Bow Wow. One more wow. Two wows. And so ready? We're gonna hit that first button. Ooh. We're gonna hit the second button. Ready?
Ready.
There we go. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, you are now about to listen to the wonders of Bow Wow Wow. I Want Candy. Maestro, hit the button. Candy by Bow Wow Wow. Here we go. Aaron, you're eating right now. Aaron has stuff in her mouth right now with some cheese and crackers.
Eating this beautiful cheese.
Yeah, you didn't know the song was in it, so you didn't know the song was in anything. So
I know.
the positive and negative about this song right now, beautiful song. Ain't too much to break down though.
No, there isn't.
I mean, this right here, it ain't nothing to break down this song. It's just, it is what it
I
is.
think
It's
that we did bring it to, to the conversation talking
Yes.
about sponge candy and I want candy.
yes, and it is
Who doesn't
Halloween.
like-
So let's
yeah.
speaking about Halloween, we're talking about candy. What's your favorite candy, Krista, for Halloween?
Oh, put her on the
Ooh,
spot.
on the spot. I told you I was gonna put you on the spot, but now I did it.
No, it's all good.
I just got you.
I am a big fan of either like really super high quality dark chocolate, just like a piece.
Okay.
That's
Small piece.
Yep. Or I really love butterscotch, caramel kind of
Butterscotch,
flavors. A little bit grandma candy over here, I gotta
Oh,
say.
see, I love butterscotch too.
Yeah, Aaron, you're actually a grandma candy kind of person too, because I've seen you eating some. What was the other stuff? You like black licorice, don't you?
Listen, why you gotta be calling me out like that?
Disgusting.
Listen,
I love
grandma
it.
candy is cool,
I also
It's
like
having a moment.
aspired to be like a really cool grandma.
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be awesome. When I'm 80, I'm
Disgusting.
gonna have like purple hair.
And
Ooh,
dishes
love
of
it.
I'm
candy.
gonna be like Vivian Westwood.
There
That's
you
what I'm
go.
She
gonna
has
be
purple
like.
hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have purple hair, too.
She has the craziest makeup. She's goals. Gosh, she had
So
goals.
what's your favorite candy, Aaron?
Okay. Well, so
Take your time.
my store, Sweet and Dirty.
Sweet and dirty. Yes, I'm
Back in the day, I used to have a clothing store called Sweet and Dirty, and I sold nostalgia candy.
I remember that. It was before I knew you, but I remember that.
I loved the Sky Bar.
Oh yeah, Sky Bar is great.
Sky Bar was great because it has the different little pieces, one with, I think, like marshmallow, caramel,
peanut butter.
peanut butter. Oh, so you got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's the bar for somebody who doesn't know what they want.
Yeah, that explains everything.
The bar for somebody that doesn't know what they want. Yeah, well, that's not me.
What's your favorite
Yeah,
kind
what's
of
your
candy,
favorite?
Franklin?
You know what's crazy? I'm not really a candy person, but I'm gonna go back to, and it's crazy because we pick up a lot of things from our parents, right?
Yeah,
For
what's
sure.
So when I
your
was
favorite candy?
And when
going to.
correct, and we do. We try not to a lot of times, and we actually go right down the same path. So the reason I say that is my mother used to love Snickers bars. Love Snickers. So I found myself liking Snickers as well. And then when I was a kid, I remember she used to always get these big packs of Reese's cups. I don't like the pieces. I'm not a pieces guy.
Okay.
But the cups, I can do cups.
Is it because you don't like the ratio of peanut butter to chocolate?
No,
in the pieces?
I want more peanut butter. I
Yeah.
want more peanut butter.
Yeah.
So the little small things, they don't do it for me.
It's because you don't like sweets, and the peanut butter helps balance it out.
Balance-
The Reese's Pieces are too sweet for you.
Very
Honestly,
sweet.
Trader
Yes.
Joe's has the best peanut butter cups.
Yeah, they've got some pretty great
They
chocolate.
do. They really do.
So interestingly, the founders of Trader Joe's are also the people who founded Aldi.
Yes.
So if you go
I
to
know that
Aldi,
because you told me.
the chocolate is phenomenal
Secrets.
and a good price. So it's like Viennese, German style chocolate. Fantastic, good price. Great
Okay.
little gift for
Krista,
somebody.
this is really what we want. We want the insider secret.
Yeah.
It's you're welcome to have them.
Last
I
week we
have
got the
plenty
insider
to
secrets
give.
about Broadway plays.
We did. This
Now we got
week
the insider
is
secrets
food.
for food. Oh, this is amazing. But let's do this. I want to segue into something else real fast.
Yeah,
We're talking
let's
about
do it.
candy. You know, I'm drinking some pretty good sangria in my opinion. I don't know if I'm a little tipsy right now, but drinking some good sangria. Where are some? Because I don't drink a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a social drinker. But my cousin came to Buffalo about 2 or 3 months ago, right? Justin, about 2 or 3 months ago. And he put me onto a drink, which is the whiskey sour.
Whiskey
Oh,
sour.
sure.
That's
The classic.
But blew my mind. Never had a whiskey sour before, blew my mind. Now, they're not all made the same though.
Well, so
When I have the little when I have the foam at the top, I know you made it really good because you used the egg yolk in the whiskey sour.
oh, I see.
Ooh, yes.
that was when we were in Toronto.
Toronto had a
Toronto had
great
the
whiskey
best
sour.
So you mean an egg white?
Egg white, yes, egg white, yes.
Yes. So I have had lots of whiskey sours that don't have an egg white in them.
Is it good?
So that might have been, God, I haven't had a whiskey sour in a really long time. That might have been a specialty of theirs.
Okay. No, President Buffalo did it.
But I feel really at a loss right now because I'm trying to remember everything about a whiskey sour, and it's probably been 10 years since I've had one. But I will tell you this.
Yes.
There are bars in every restaurant,
Hmm?
but there are not craft cocktail bars in every restaurant.
Oh.
So a
So
big
there's a difference again.
differentiation, just like there's wine in every restaurant, but not every restaurant is a restaurant for wine people.
Mm.
So, a restaurant that has like a great craft cocktail program is going to make everything to the nose and the directions that are intended.
Mm.
Where, a restaurant that simply has a bar, it doesn't necessarily mean that the staff understands like the finer things in life and all the classic recipes and all the classic techniques.
Similar to the chef and the
Yes.
cook. Well,
So
yeah.
a lot of times the restaurants that we see lauded in the press maybe have one or two really great things that make people love them. They
Okay.
have great ambiance.
Mm.
They have affordable prices. They have big portions. They have delicious food. They have a great craft cocktail program. Very few restaurants have all the bases covered.
Mm.
There are a handful
I
in
know.
Western New
Can
York
you
that
share-
have all the bases covered. Well, if I leave anybody out, I'm going to be in
I
trouble.
know, that's true.
Yeah, so let's not
That
do
is
that.
true.
Yes,
Let's
yeah,
not
let's
do
not get
that.
anybody in
I
trouble.
know.
So DM me,
Okay, DM Krista on
Yeah,
Instagram.
and I will tell you where you can find a
tagged her.
place that has killer beer, killer craft cocktails,
Oh.
killer wine, a really refined, smart menu that is a good value. I'm your girl.
Amazing.
You know what's really hot right now are the non-alcoholic cocktails.
Yes. So I have written about this recently on buffalospree.com.
That is so true.
Segue.
So if anybody wants to check that article out, then
Yes.
go to buffalospree.com.
Yes, because people have both decided to get a little bit healthier, a little more self-care, a little more like drying out a couple days a week.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic, we also have the legalization of marijuana, which means a lot of people would rather partake in that than in drinking, but they still want bar culture. So non-alcoholic beverages have really come to fruition in the last year or two, and we have some amazing options available to us.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It is. These are the changes that are happening in Western New York, and they happen slowly and in the best places usually first,
Mm.
and then they kind of trickle out
They
everywhere.
trickle out.
I mean, you could always get a Shirley Temple, right? But
Yes,
who wants
true.
a sugar bomb? I want a refined, smart, beautiful drink, just like everyone else. If I'm not going to drink tonight.
Yeah, my friend EJ, if you're listening right now, yeah, you're the Shirley Temple guy. When we go out, he's that guy. He doesn't do it. So.
Get him something
Well,
better
now
than a
there's so
Shirley
many
Temple.
more, options.
Well, Christa, you said earlier, if somebody wanted to ask you a question, to DM you, how can they DM you, Christa?
Well, they can just message me at Christa.Glennie at Instagram or on my website, ChristaGlennie.com.
ChristaGlennie.com. I just want to segue into that because again,
I appreciate that. Thank
I
you.
want to give you as much attention as you definitely deserve because you are amazing at what you do.
Thank you.
And you have taught me a lot tonight.
Yeah.
I learned about sponge candy. I learned about
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings. I learned about different regions of food. I learned about
The difference between a chef and a cook.
not a cook. There's another word in that word. There's another word there in there. What kind of cook?
Home cook.
A
Home cook. Yes, there's a difference.
A home
A
cook.
home cook and farm
To table.
to table. Ooh, that's
been
a
an
lot of
illuminating
information.
night.
See, this show, people don't realize this show is an amazing show. I'm not just saying it because it's the Franklin Crocker show, but it's not me. I'm all just saying. This show is not about me that makes the show amazing. It's about people like yourself that come on the show that makes the show amazing because we have such amazing featured guests on our show
We do.
that are specialists in their particular field.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. And I really appreciate you being here tonight, Christa.
Thanks. It was fun.
And it was kind of last minute too. So I thank you
Yeah.
for rescheduling your
It's a good thing I live like 4 blocks from the studio.
4 blocks from the studio. That's really dope.
How
So,
convenient.
very
I don't
convenient.
think Aaron knew that at all.
I did.
So again,
I did.
this
Well,
is
speaking of social media,
Yes.
and everybody should follow Krista,
Yes.
just saying, and read her articles because they are just beautiful. We want everybody to follow us on social media.
how can they follow us, Aaron?
Well, so we love the love that everybody gives us on social media. Thank you guys so much for watching Franklin's crazy reels and everything. All of his
Have some
crazy
more
comments.
coming. Watch this one I do tomorrow. Oh.
But we want you to make sure you follow us, and share our posts. Click that little paper airplane and share that and share the love. We really appreciate it. People can follow us on any of the social media platforms, The Franklin Crocker Show. And we really want to get everybody to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Yes.
That's where you can find all of our episodes.
We treat this radio show like a podcast.
It's a podcast,
Sitcom, TV show, radio show, whatever other shows we have out there. We treat the show like that. And again, we really appreciate our listeners. Again, like I always say all the time, without our listeners, we have no show. And I really appreciate it. It's funny because, as we're growing, and I was just telling Krista earlier, this is our 46th episode. Yeah, 46th episode.
Wow.
And, and it's crazy how the fanfare that we receive now. We were going to that cooking class, and there was a barbershop that was in the same building, and the guy came out, I was like, hey, what's up, Franklin Crocker? And he's like, yo, I watch you, I follow you on Instagram. I'm like, that's dope. That's amazing. Like, people that don't know us follow us, and they love what we do. One of your students loves my TikToks. She loves the Franklin Crocker Show
Let's be
TikToks.
honest, that made your week.
That did, like, Aaron always talks about my TikToks, saying that, I'm a little bit too outrageous, too out there.
I don't think
But
you're too outrageous.
your students love the Franklin Crocker
Izzy
TikToks.
said that she loved you on TikTok.
Love the
I think
TikToks.
Buffalo loves to be a fan, and they especially love to be fans of other Buffalonians.
Yes, I agree. And that's a beautiful thing because we're
It is.
such a small knit town,
Yeah.
and everybody knows everybody. They talk about 6 degrees of separation.
No, we're like
That's
2.
Not, it's maybe 2.
We're
Yes,
2.
maybe 2.
Exactly.
So it's a beautiful
But
thing
we're
here in
beyond
Buffalo.
grateful. I mean, every time you like something and share it and really engage with us, and that social media is the best way to reach out to us. So
Yeah.
if you have any questions, want to share that love, DM us on Instagram. It's the best way to get in touch with us.
And speaking of DM on Instagram, the other day I tried something new on Instagram, which what's funny, what's really dope to me is when I can find something new on Instagram and share it
That
with
nobody knows about.
that nobody knows about and share with the younger culture, like, whoa, I didn't know you can do that. Yeah, I taught you
Okay,
that.
but tell them what you did.
So what I did is this.
Somebody commented.
So Jonna, I posted one of 30 seconds of her singing at her show.
She commented.
She commented, And
You replied with what?
I reply with a reel. You can reply with the reel now. And not only did I reply with the reel, I had words coming out of my mouth, and you can change the captions up. So I had the words coming out of my mouth as I was speaking. It's pretty cool. And she thought that was amazing. So, old dog can learn, teach some new tricks.
Look at this.
Yeah, so again, we appreciate
10
everybody.
months into the game.
10 months, only 10 months on Instagram. I never used Instagram prior to.
That's why this is quite remarkable.
And we're about 1,500 people in. So
Yeah.
again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Follow us, share our stuff. I want to say another word, but I can't say it. But keep sharing our stuff. Keep pushing and promoting the Franklin Crocker Show, because again, without you, there's no us, and we want to help out. We want to share the awareness of the great Buffalo culture.
And we love what we do.
We love what we do, and we love having guests on like Krista. And Krista, we greatly appreciate you being here
my
tonight.
pleasure.
Krista, thank
So-
you
My
so much for
pleasure.
coming
And
on. This has been great.
ladies and gentlemen, again, keep Carrie Bridges in your prayer.
Yes.
K. Dot, my man,
Prayers out
my
to
brother
Carrie.
from another
We love
mother.
you, man.
Love you, dog, and God bless. Good night, and let's wrap it up. See ya.
The full Power 96.5